fever pitch and they want it real, then they would do it faster. And it would invoke a certain emotion from the people because that's what they were looking to do. So again, skilled people within the temple and within the tabernacle were trained to do this. And that was all they did. They were skilled in instrumentation. And that was part of what they did in worshiping God. They didn't do anything else. They didn't go out and set the altar. No, their job was instruments. They did nothing else. Because that was their skill by which they brought to the temple. And that's what they were trained in. Certain families were trained to do that. Then you had the tambourine. And we use the tambourine today. You know, you get that, and you got people that are real good with it, but they make it pop, 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 pop. I mean, they can do it. And you know exactly what's going on with it. Again, what you're into. Are you into praise? Are you into worship? And you got to know there's a difference between the two. Praise and worship is not the same thing. And some people don't get that. You know, they are praising and they say, "Ooh, we worship God." No, you didn't. No, you were praising God. Praise is what I give unto him. Worship is what he does unto me. Because in worship, it's just him and I. We're making supplication. I'm on my face before the Lord, and we're connecting. In worship and praise is what I'm giving to him. I'm just giving it all to him. I'm just whatever, my body, whatever my voice, whatever allows me the opportunity to, I'm just giving it all to him. That's praise. That's what I do to him. Worship is what he does to me. Because that's why the Father seeks such to worship him in spirit and in truth. Because worship is the greater of the two. Nothing wrong with praise. Praise is what he sees it, but worship is what he longs for. Because there is an endearment, a connection in worship that's different than praise. So these instruments dictate that. And the instruments were what they used in order to dictate the type of setting that they were going to have. Whether they were going to be praising or whether they were going to be worshiping. And based upon what they came out and started doing, then the people, it would invoke that emotion within the people. The trumpet. The trumpet was blown by the priest, not by the Levites. Levites didn't play that. The priest did. You said, but the Levites and the priests the same thing? No. No. There's a tribe of Levi. Priests were different. They were anointed in certain skill areas. And they performed within those skill areas of the performance of the things within the temple. And that's what they did. They were priests. This was part of their worship unto God. And they were anointed for that. They were set forth. The high priest would lay hands on them, and they were anointed for that. They were separated for that particular type of worship. But the Levites were different. They were a part of the temple because of their inheritance. And they had certain things they did within the temple. But they were not necessarily the priest. They were of the tribe of Levi. They may have certain performances, certain things that they did, but they weren't necessarily anointed to be in certain areas of the temple. It was off limits to them. It was not of them because they were just Levites. They couldn't just walk into the temple and go into the Holy of Holies. They'd die. Some of them even couldn't go into the holy place because it wasn't for them. They were not anointed to do so. So it was by that anointing that they did that. They were professional musicians, the priests were. And they served in this function and the function was called signaling. They would use this signaling by the trumpet. And they would play the trumpet in such a way, and it would signal the people to do certain things. If they played the trumpet and said, dun, 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 then the people would know we're coming to worship. If they played the trumpet, dun, 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 then they know that they're coming to praise. They would let them know by the signal of the trumpet. And they were professionals. This is what they did, and this is what they got paid for. They got paid, y'all. In Solomon's temple, when they formed the temple, there was a distinct body that was made called the choir. And the choir, which was made up of those that played the instruments and then those that sung, they were furnished a salary. Also, they were furnished rooms within the temple in order for them to stay. So they would hone their skills. They would develop the things that they were supposed to do. So when they stood before the people in order to sing a song, and it was all male choir, there were no women. It was Levi, all male choir. Never any women. Never any women. Well, they were sexist. They were no. They couldn't live in there. That would be wrong. If they were living in the temple together, locked away for 6 months, you're going to have trouble. So, no, it was an all-male choir. It was 200 members of the choir. And all of the skilled musicians were men. All the priests were men. The high priest, men. That's the way it was established in order to keep order within the temple so that there would not be. It wasn't the fact that women couldn't sing, but they would not sing in a choir. They were not appointed nor anointed not to sing in that choir. They would not do it. Now they could sing out there, like Miriam made up songs and she sang. She could sing out there as long as she wanted. But when she entered into the, no, she didn't sing that. They sung. Because that was their anointing and that was their appointment to sing. And they were all on salary and they all got paid for singing. And they were all adult singers. They were not children or young adults. No, they were all adult males that sang and played the instruments within the house of God. And that's the way it looked. But the trumpet player was the most skilled of them all to play that trumpet. I remember playing with a few trumpet players in my day. Boy, they were good. And they were good. And they knew how to set the tone. And I mean, they were real good. And if you had a good trumpet player, you had a good band. Sax can fall in there anywhere. But if you had a good trumpet player, you had a band. Because they set the tone. They were the one who, because they were called pronouncers. They would pronounce. Everything that was going on, you heard it through the trumpet. The trumpet will pronounce what the band is doing. And when you heard that trumpet, you heard everything. And you had a good trumpet player, they carried a band. If you had a bad one, it'd show up too. It would know. So this is what they did. That's why they were the most skilled people of all. Then you had one last one. And you wouldn't think of this as an instrument, but it is. Besides the trumpet, it is the most important instrument of all. It was the ram's horn. Do we still have one up here?
Yes.
They have,
Up under the, I think it's up under that back seat.
is it up under that? Oh, there. It was put forth to play. There was the most admired instrument that if you could play this, the ram's horn, that person was considered special. Because of the fact this was what was used to warn the people.